Buongiorno tutti, welcome back to Florence. I'm in the Piazza di Signore. You'll notice behind me normally would sit the statue of David, but interesting fun fact, Florence is a sister city to Kiev, and they've decided to cover up David, at least the one beside the Piazza Vecchio, as a bit of a protest to the war. Around here you'll find that a lot of people are very, very against the war, very heartbroken at what's going on, and it really shows. There's been a couple of protests, there's been some demonstrations and a parade. Because I'm a tourist, I steer clear of that, but from what I've so far seen, it's actually been quite heartwarming show of solidarity. So yeah, let's hope that gets resolved soon and those in power make good choices. And we'll leave it at that. Goodwill, I guess, is kind of a theme that I've been thinking about lately. I've been trying to figure out, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, about travel tips, right? And one that keeps coming to mind is learning a little bit of Italian and minding your P's and Q's, as they say. And I really have noticed what a huge difference it has been when you just use per favor and grazie. But yeah, it's a simple and easy thing to do, and it really has, or it really does change a lot of situations to be a lot more pleasant. And in particular, coming to a place that's very touristy, you're dealing with a lot of people who deal with a lot of tourists, and you know, not all the tourists are as pleasant and nice as I am, nor as handsome either. But you know, but yeah, I would imagine it's tough to be around tourists all day, especially knowing that none of them, or very few of them, have learned Italian, and you know a lot more English than they know Italian. And yeah, you see it. It's natural, right? Not super enthused employees dealing with all the tourists. And it is amazing, though unsurprising, that you can take a very indifferent, cold teenager who's you know, serving you a bottle of water or something, you know, selling you a ticket to somewhere, and just simply like looking at them and saying in Italian, grazie. And I see it all the time, right? Like their facial expressions change. They stop for a moment, they look at you, they actually interact with you. I really started to think about it lately because last night I went and I got one of those pork sandwiches, and it was a great sandwich, and I was excited. But the thing is, I was in a little bit of a bad mood going in, and there's been a big line and all that kind of stuff, so I'm stressing out about like whether these 6 people ahead of me are actually in line, and they were behind me, but now they're in front of me, and you know, is this going to be a long time? What's happening? You know, all that stuff you don't need to really worry about. So, or I shouldn't be worried about, but I am, and I'm hungry, and I want one of those pork sandwiches, right? And I'm excited about it. And sure enough, they leave, right? Like they're gone. But I'm still in a mood, right? I'm hungry, and so I tell the guy what I want. And he just kind of very, like, you know, dead face, like, okay. And he goes and he makes my sandwich, and so yeah, I realize that, you know, I'm actually in a good mood. I'm gonna get a sandwich, and it's gonna be awesome. And so yeah, I just kind of told myself, like, hey, lighten up, come on, you know, get back into it. And like, okay. And I realized that, the guy was still grumpy. And normally, I'm excited and I interact a little bit and that kind of thing. A little bit. It made me think about, per favor, grazie, I want to be nice and that. And I also realized too that, kind of why I do all these videos and I try to get people canoeing and all that kind of stuff is really like, it's me trying to share my excitement, right? Because I get a real kick out of that, right? And I've talked to other people, and some of them have given me great compliments about how these dumb videos are kind of fun because I'm taking people along the ride, and I'm and I like to think, I took that as a great compliment. I like to think that the big difference between what I'm trying to do and if I'm doing my job correctly and is I'm bringing people along, and as opposed to talking about myself. Like, who cares? I'm in Italy. Who cares I did this? Who cares I did that? But it's a big difference when I'm talking at you about my adventures versus trying to somehow bring you along, and talk about how I feel and what it's like and the silly little adventures and all the stupid little things that I do and worry about and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know whether it comes across. Maybe, who knows? But I was paid a very nice compliment once, saying that that's why they watch, right? That and normally Nancy's in the videos, which I get that. Anyway, what it is about is taking your adventures and your excitement and your happiness and your sometimes frustrations and misadventures and your joy and happiness and laughter and all that kind of stuff, and just helping share that with other people. Like, we're weird creatures. We have those reflectors, right? Those emotional reflectors. When we see someone smile, we want to smile. When they're laughing, we want to laugh, and that kind of thing. And I think that's why we all watch these kinds of things. And it's also why I think we can put a little, joy into the world by just saying please and thank you as well. But also sharing that excitement. And that's what was going through my head when I realized I was being grumpy to the pork sandwich guy. And I realized, like, I'm really excited. I'm really happy about this thing. And this is going to be awesome. And so what I did was, remembering that, having remembered that, I got excited and I smiled. I put a big smile on my face, not a fake one. I just kind of tapped into my inner smile, so to speak. And I looked at him and I said, I'm really excited about this. This is going to be awesome. Big smile, excited smile. And he was dead-faced for the first 10 minutes of our exchange there. But as soon as I said that, he had a big smile on it. He's like, yeah, these are really good. I'm like, yeah, I know it's gonna be. And he handed it to me with a big smile on my face. And it just changed the dynamic. It changed everything that was happening. And like I said, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, about how you go into a restaurant and you sit down and the staff is very, dead-faced and just, yeah, what would you like? And you're just, oh, I heard the pizza's great in here. I want a pizza, per favor. And grazie. And they're excited with you, and they're happy that you're happy. And that's kind of universal, right? And I've been very conscious about trying to do that a little bit more. And yeah, so I get my pork sandwich, and I go and I eat it, and it was great. It was fantastic. I showed you pictures of it yesterday. Great burger. And as I'm walking around with my sandwich and eating it, I start to reflect on the day before, and I was like, yeah, I should talk about this. You know, I know it sounds corny and lame and whatever, but you know, spreading the joy kind of stuff, right? And just how I could do that, and just like, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what we're doing here. Maybe that's what we're supposed to be doing more of, and all that kind of stuff. And maybe more people should do that. And if for no other reason, I could be a good example. And then my thoughts started to wander back to the day before when I was in Bologna. It was a fantastic day. Loved the day. The problem was, towards the end of the night, I was tired and I was very, very hungry. And I had to catch a train in like 2 hours. So I needed to go find dinner. And what I wanted to get bolognese in Bologna, because I thought that would be fun. I find this little place. It's got a sandwich board with a big arrow. It sends me 2 blocks down alleyways. I'm like, this is great, you know, far off location. You know, this is usually how you find great restaurants, right? Always in some alley, right? And I get that, and I mentioned I was tired, and I had climbed all those steps, and it turns out I had to climb down some steps to get there, which was like, oh, okay, which means I have to climb up them again. Anyway, I get down there, I'm all excited. The place is empty, and I ask very sheepishly, you know, do you happen to have a table for one? And she looks at me, she's like, no, we don't have any. I was like, oh, okay, it's weird. Okay, grazie. You know, and I walked up the steps, and the thing about me is, I have this thing, I don't like to hear no. Like I feel very irrationally, and this is like something, you know, it's a thing, but very irrationally, I feel a lot of shame from hearing the no, like, oh, and I get all cringy and like, oh yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have asked. Oh man, I want out of this situation, like, get me out, you know. And that's how I felt. And worse is the reaction of like, of course we don't have any tables. What do you think, this place is empty because we have tables available? Come on, you know, being a little cheeky. And I was like, I started to get into this thing, right? Like I started to spiral a little bit, you know, thinking, oh geez, you know, like, am I gonna find a table? I'm super hungry, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And all these restaurants, they won't let me in. And you know, maybe it's because I'm by myself. They're not gonna make money off one guy using a table and all this kind of stuff. So I tried to go into a couple of other restaurants, and they didn't have any tables. And then after a while, I'm looking around and I'm finding every excuse why this restaurant won't let me in. And you know, this is too crowded, this one's too empty, this one, oh, the prices are too cheap, they won't like, this is how ridiculous it is. They won't want my business because I'm only going to buy like a $9 entree, you know, €9. It's debilitating. And I remember having this conversation with myself in the moment of just like, what the hell, man? Like, you can't even like go into a restaurant and ask whether there's a table. Like, come on, like, how do you feed yourself? Right? Like, what? Why can't you do this? Like, why can't you like be normal and, you know, just function like other people? Just go in, ask, they'll say no, and you go find another one, right? But I couldn't, you know. And it was a thing now. And I remember just like, well, I'm gonna go home. Like, I'll just eat when I get home. And you know, that in and of itself was disappointing because it felt a little defeated, you know. which sucks. And I remember saying to myself, okay, I'm gonna try this one last place. And because I had also gotten into this argument in my head of like, well, now it's too late. Like, you only have an hour. You're not going to be able to eat in an hour. You have to catch the train and, all this kind of stuff. So I eventually, negotiated with myself. I know, it's silly. And just said, okay, there's one place up here. It's highly rated. Just go in and ask. And if you can't, if they won't serve you, then we'll go home. But just try. And so I went in. Of course, they were also downstairs, which meant I had to climb up the stairs. And I went down, and there was a very nice waiter. And I said, is there any chance you have a table for one? And he looks at me and he says, of course, welcome, come here. And follow me in. And I followed him in, and he said, is this okay? And I said, yes, this is awesome. And very helpful overall. And I managed to eat like a regular person and get on my train on time. And obviously, I got back to Florence, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this video, right? And I just thought to myself, like for a while there, especially on the train ride, my thoughts were focused on like, oh, see, you're being silly, like why do you do that? And of course I don't know what it is, but I can tell you this. Some of us, it's like we're at a wedding, but we're the staff, Like, you get to go to the wedding and you get to see the people and stuff, but you're not really allowed to talk to people. The food's not for you. The drinks aren't for you. You have to just quietly stay in the background until everyone's gone. And then, whatever food remains, that's yours, right? So just, don't let anybody see you. And everything's going to be okay. And just hope that nobody asks you to leave, right? That's in a nutshell. Just this, like, weird, it's weird. I'm 48 now. You'd think I'd get over it, but, Anyway, in that moment, I felt welcome. And I felt it was okay I was there. And with the nice waiters, just making me feel comfortable, like it was okay. And like, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird. I almost want to like go back there and just say, hey, you know what? I just needed that. Like, thank you for being friendly. And they probably would look at me and say, of course. That's what we do, right? And I didn't realize how much I needed that in that moment, like just to get me out of that. So I can have a nice meal and still enjoy my trip and still enjoy that without feeling defeated, And so cut back to me eating my pork sandwich last night. And I was like, you know what? I'm not the only one who does it, like a por favor and a grazie and an attempt to speak in their language and an excitement to get other people excited and, laughing at yourself on a video so that other people will laugh as well. And just go somewhere really special and just show the world how excited you are about things. That's it's the same. You give some, you get some. And as corny as that sounds, that's what it's all about, right? when I started this, I had like a very clear point, and I think I'm losing it because, like losing my point. Because it was clear what I wanted to talk about, and it was clear that I wanted to say, like, this is what it's about. Getting excited and sharing that, and telling everybody it's okay, and it's, you should get excited and you should be happy, and, it's gonna be okay. Maybe it's not a please and a thank you and that. Maybe it's like an acknowledgement, like I see you and it's okay. You're welcome. Like, not you're welcome, but you are welcome. So not that there's any chance at all that those two waiters who were very, very nice to me yesterday would ever see this, but if you do, thank you. It's just what I needed. It was great to have been seen, and thank you. And with that, rambling, I don't know, maybe I had a point, I don't. I'm right back where I started, at the Palazzo Vecchio, with the covered David as a sign of solidarity between Florence and Kiev, and they're trying to say that they see them too. Anyway, I hope everyone else is doing well. I hope everyone who's watching this is having a fantastic time wherever you are. I certainly am in Florence. Having a great old time. Even if sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle to figure out how to eat. But, I'm glad I did this, and every time, every little adventure is a challenge, and it's it's invigorating, and it's a learning experience, and one more step closer to being a little bit more right with the world. So with that, please take care of yourselves. I will speak to you tomorrow. A domani, arrivederci. Ciao.